Now, our top focus now. Polls closed in Ohio and Virginia, where off-year elections were poised to offer insight into whether abortion rights remain a potent force in U.S. politics ahead of next year's presidential contest.
Ohioans were voting on whether to guarantee abortion rights as part of the state constitutional. Virginians cast ballots to determine whether Republicans will gain the power to impose new limits on the procedure. Now, early exit poll data indicated the yes side on the Ohio abortion measure was ahead, though such figures are not always predictive.
Thank you guys. Democrats and Republicans were watching closely for clues on mood of the electorate less than 3 months before the Iowa presidential nominating contest kicks off the 2024 White House campaign. Elsewhere, Kentucky and Mississippi were electing governors, while voters across the country were choosing mayors and other local elected officials.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, one of a handful of Democrats to lead a state that voted for Republican Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election, is aiming to defy his home state's conservative lean once again in his re-election campaign. Beshear faces Republican State Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who would be Kentucky's first black governor despite his party affiliation. Beshear enjoys strong approval ratings after leading the state through the coronavirus pandemic and a series of natural disasters while overseeing economic growth.
In Mississippi, Republican Governor Tate Reeves is seeking another 4-year term. His Democratic challenger, Brandon Presley, a former mayor and the second cousin of singer Elvis Presley, outraised Reeves.
However, he faces an uphill climb in a state that voted for Trump over Democratic President Joe Biden by more than 16 percentage points in 2020. Now, both Reeves and Cameron were endorsed by Trump, the frontrunner for his party's 2024 White House nomination, despite a litany of legal entanglements.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen in.
While most Americans could care less about elections that happen 1 year before a presidential contest, Tuesday was voting day in 31 states. Legislative elections, governor races, and some states were holding referendums as well. But one state to focus on is Virginia. In the past few cycles, what happens in Virginia has a direct correlation with what will happen in national elections. And voters in Virginia are deciding for the first time in a decade whether or not to give Republicans full control of government. And one of the governor's main agendas is that 15-week abortion ban. Now, good showing for both Democrats and Republicans could be detrimental for 2024. And the question many are asking is whether the Democrats' message regarding Abortion Day will save the day in Virginia. And if it does, expect the Democrats to use the same exact playbook as those in Virginia used. However, if it doesn't, then that might not be good news, not only for the Democratic Party moving forward, but for Joe Biden, who is likely to be the contender for 2024, running against his Republican counterpart. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.